Okay, so while we are starting, so it's being sent to YouTube. Okay, fine. Who knows the meaning of Dev Shast Guru? Do you guys understand the words Dev, Shastra, and Guru? They are actually three words. It's a conjunct thing. Sarthak, do you know what Dev, Shastra, Guru stands for? Okay, very simple.
No.
बेटा आप आरुष आपको पता है? How about you, Mika?
नहीं.
Okay. So Dev means God, right? Bhagwan, है ना? The way we defined them, not like the way they are defined in different Indian or non-Indian traditions. The Dev is per definition of Jains. So that means the Dev. When we say Dev, we are talking about Aryant Bhagwan, uh, Kevli Bhagwan, Siddha Bhagwan. Okay, those are Devs for us. What is Shastra? Shastra is scripture. What is it? Scriptures, and no other scripture but the scriptures of the Jains. The a scripture that has been that came out of the sound, the voice of Bhagwan Tirthankar when he was sitting in Samosharan, and something that got codified by a long line of Jain Acharya and Muni, right? That Shastra. Okay, Shastra means literal meaning, Shastra means scripture. The other word that we use for it in our tradition is Agam. What is the word? Agam. Okay, and Guru you should know, right? Because Guru is now a word in English as well, right? If I say Arush is Guru at something, what does it mean? He is a master, right? But in our context, in Jain context, Guru means Acharya, Upadhyaya, and Muni from whom we learn about Jainism. Make sense, Sarthak? Am I audible to all? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. है ना? I see a message in the chat. Will be leaving class early. I have another class. Okay, no worries, Mika. You can leave whenever you feel appropriate. Mostly will be done sooner today because the topic is very direct and very should be very clear with you to you with the video itself. Okay, so three things very important: Dev, Shastra, Guru. Now, when we say Dev Shas Guru, you will always hear we should be worshipping Sache Dev Shas Guru, or we should have faith or Shraddha in Sache Dev Shas Guru. What is Sache? What do you mean by Sache? Mika.
Like true or real?
True, right? Or one who shows us the true path, that way true, right? Uh, there are gurus who will be fake. Obviously, we don't have to follow them. There will be scriptures which has nothing to do with Jainism. Obviously, we don't have to follow that. And there are the ideas of devs which are not as per the definitions, in Jainism. We don't have to follow them. But then there are also some Devshas Guru who may appear very, very, very nice. They are not untruthful. They are yet truthful from a worldly definition, but we don't even have to follow them. When we are on the path of our Jain tradition, our line of thinking, then there is a very, very, pointed definition of Devshas Guru, something that we call as Sache Devshas Guru, and we should be following them, right? The idea of Dev as Bhagwan Tirthankar sitting in either a Padmasana avastha with their eyes half closed, focusing on the nose in a meditative state, or idea of Bhagwan's Pratima standing, in a Kayotsarg avastha, and their eyes shut closed and focusing on the nose, that is meditating, looking inward, is the idea of Tirthankar Dev or of Devs, right? And that's the idea of Sache Dev, right? You may find other idols of same Tirthankars, but in a very different shape and form with different ornamentations and adorations. They are also referred to by the same names as Tirthankar Bhagwans, but we do not consider that as the idea of Sache Dev. है ना? So there are these subtle things which are subtle yet very, very critical, defining whether we have our focus is in the right direction or we are mithya drishti or we are, wrong believers. है ना? So that is what is important for us to keep in mind. Arush, go ahead. What's your question?
So, like, how would we identify between like a such a guru and a fake?
Oh, yes, that's what exactly we'll go through the video. We will cover that topic, and then when we are at that point, I will interject and give you more interpretation of it. How about that? And that is more than it's definitely there are some attributes that we should look for in a Sache Dev, same way for Sache Shastra, but it's also about testing. Our religion does not believe in blind faith. Our religion believe in testing, with experimentation, with inquisition, with questioning, right? With the right questions. Of course, you should express your humility. That is something you should never compromise on. But no guru will mind if you go to them with your questions and the mindset that I want to, you are a Jain Muni, before I start treating you like as my guru, I would like to assess it. They would appreciate it. If your intent is very honest, they would surely appreciate that, right? So what are those attributes? We'll cover that in the video, and that will make it very clear, Arush. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me see. Okay, share sound, which is important. And let me now go to Google Classroom, share, and let's see the English one. Okay, so how about this?
Jai Jinendra kids!
Wait a sec, beta. Let me turn it into full screen. Can you see it? Okay, I don't need the CC. So that's distraction. Okay, let me play it out now.
Jai Jinendra kids! Do you know we should only bow down to Sache Dev, Sache Shastra and Sache Guru, meaning true God, true scriptures and true teachers. Now let's learn about Sache Dev. Who are Sache Dev? He is Vitragi, Sarvagya and Hitopadeshi and is free from 18 flaws. True Dev is also called Abd.
Okay, so this is very important. There are 3 words that I want your focus on. These are what I told you, right? For each of them, Sache Dev, Sache Shastra, Sache Guru, there will be a description of what defines Sache Dev, Sache Shastra and Sache Guru. In case of Sache Dev, the 3 words, I want you to basically speak up those words. First is Vitragi. Say after me, Vitragi,
Vitragi,
Sarvagya and Hitopadeshi. Okay? 3 words. Right? So, Vitragi means those Bhagwan, those idea of those devs who have no rag or dvesh. They have no expression in their idol. Obviously, we don't, in this current Chhatta Kal, we do not have, this current Pancham Kal, we don't have access to them, right? But we do worship them in temples. We have idols of Bhagwanji, images of Bhagwanji around in temple, right? Dev around in temple. Most important quality that we look for in the idol of Bhagwan is there is an expression of Vitragta. What is Vitragta? Vitragta means those who are beyond any rag or dvesh, beyond any attachments or feelings of hatred and acrimony, right? There should be no expression of that, right? What does it mean? It means they should be in such a state where their focus is not even on any kind of rag or not even on any kind of dvesh. As in, they are in a meditative state. They are in a state of contemplation, focusing inward, right? So that's the first thing. There are other idols you will see in different type of temples, non-Jain mainly, where there are these devs, Vyantar Dev and other type of devs who are shown with 6 hands and different type of weaponry in the hands and whatnot, right? That's not an expression of Vitragta. Now, a person who is not Jain can continue believing in them for their own worldly desires. But when we are looking forward to a Dev, we are not looking for them to fulfill our worldly desires. We are rather looking to them for their expression of enlightenment, their expression of attaining, the path, basically showing us the light to attain moksha, right? So that's why our idea of Dev, as per Jain tradition and in particular our line, Digambar line of Jainism, is where we show our Bhagwan in a Vitrag avastha, right? Which is where they are focusing inward. There is no expression of like laugh or smiling face or some Dev climbing on another demon and that kind of thing. We never show that. That's Vitragita, right? Sarvagya means they are omniscient. They are knower of everything, yet not the doers. They are not the creators, nor the executors, or the destroyers of this world. They know everything through their gyan, through their kevalya gyan, which is what they have achieved after a long life of hard tap and tyag. है ना? And the third one is hitopadeshi. That is, they, with their life example, have given us stories which are all about how they had the feeling, immense feeling of being to not just do good to themselves, but also create a body of knowledge that can show a path to people who want to attain moksha, right? So while of course they attained moksha, but once after they had kevalya gyan, and yet their body was not over, they utilized their life to spread the knowledge around Jainism, more importantly around how to achieve liberation, right? So their life itself was an example. On top of it, before their they turned Tirthankar, Bhagwan, in their past life they did contemplations. One of those contemplations was all about darshan vishuddhi, being having that immense feeling of lok kalyan, of well-being of everyone, of all the infinite number of jeeves that are around in this in this multiverse, in this lok. That kind of feeling they had, right? So that made them Tirthankar, and that's what are the qualities that we look forward in the expression of our Sache Dev. Vitragta, Sarvagyata and Hitopdeshta, right? These are the things. Then of course their idols or their the expression of Bhagwan, anything should be free of the Athara dosh. We'll not cover Athara dosh in detail, but just for now remember it that way, that their images, their idols are free of those 18 faults. And the other term that's used for Sache Dev is apt. What is the term? Apt. Now you can say English closest word is apt. Apt is expert, isn't it? Right? So yes, of course they are expert, but that's not what apt means. Apt means obviously one who is free from all bondages, who is in Vitrag avastha and have attained moksha. Okay, so I'll continue from here, this point.
True Dev is also called Apt. Now kids, let's see what is the meaning of Vitragi, Sarvagya and Hitopadeshi. Vitragi, one whose attachment has been destroyed.
So I will qualify it. As I said, this is not just about attachments being destroyed. It's also about they have gone beyond any type of attachment or any kind of feelings of hatred, right? So they neither have any rag nor have any grudge or feeling of remorse towards any being, right? So that's what you should look for. If there is a story and there is an idol in some temple, be your own judge. Is that idol expressing the feeling of vitragta? Is it expressing from its posturing, from its demeanor, a feeling which is all about, hey, this person who this idol is representing is, representing, it has basically achieved moksha. They have gone beyond all the attachments and all the remorses and acrimonies and grudges, right? If not, then you already have an answer. That's not idol of a Vitragi Dev. Okay. Next thing, Sarvagyata. So I'll continue the video now.
Sarvagya, one who knows everything which exists across all times, past, present, and future simultaneously. Hitopadeshi, one who instructs all living beings toward liberation. We can break this word into two small words like hit means welfare and updesh means preaching. In the previous slide, we said that he is free from 18
Oh,
flaws.
I didn't see
Do
that.
you know what are those flaws? Let's
So
see.
I didn't realize this slide has the mention of the 18 dosh, which is great. I didn't realize. I thought this will not be covered in level 1, but I'm delighted it is, right? So we covered the three words, right? Vitragta, uh, Sarvagyata, and Hitopadeshi, right? After that, there was a statement that they are free from the 18 dosh. What are those dosh, right? Those flaws or fallings, right? Or faults. They are these, right? Hunger, thirst, old age, disease, birth, death, fear, pride, attachment, hatred, delusion, anxiety, non passion, surprise, sleep, grief, mourning, and perspiration. That's what happens once Kevalya Gyan is achieved by Bhagwan. These 18 flaws all go away. The process of their aging kind of stops. You can see it that way, right? They do not get any kind of diseases. There is no janm. Obviously there is a maran that would happen for one last time, but once they are in siddhagati, there is no maran as well, right? Once somebody achieves moksha, there is no maran. In arihantavastha, yet their ayu will come to an end, right? But that's about it. That's going to be their last death. How about that? um, Anyways, so Praniti also joined. So great, Praniti. We'll continue. We are doing the 18 flaws, 18 flaws or 18 dosh of that a true Dev is free from. Okay, so let's keep going.
Those are hunger, thirst, old age, disease, birth, death, fear, pride, attachment, hatred, delusion, anxiety, non passionate, surprise, sleep, grief, mourning, and perspiration. Who are our Sachedev? Sachedev are also known as Arihant. There are two types of Arihant, Tirthankar and Samanya Kevali. In the current era, we revere our 24 Tirthankars are our Sache Dev.
Remember, we had talked about this, right? Earlier also, that Arihant could mean either the 24 Tirthankar Bhagwan or the Samanya Kevali, right? So, example of Samanya Kevali, the best example is Bahubali Bhagwan. है ना? Bahubali Bhagwan also attained moksha. That way he is now Siddh. But before being Siddh, he was an Arihant Bhagwan. He was a Samanya Kevali. He was not one of the 24 Tirthankars. Yet we worship him. है ना? That's because he also achieved moksha, and before achieving moksha, his life itself was a great example for us how to on conduct. Okay, so we'll continue. So this is next one is very interesting.
Now, how will you identify our Sachedev? Sachedev are Vidragi and have won over their inner flaws and weaknesses. Hence, no external force can ever harm them. Therefore, they don't need any weapons or external materialistic things for their protection and livelihood. Now, kids, let's see what is the meaning of Sache Shastra. Sache Shastra meaning true scriptures are the only that are revealed by Tirthankar, compiled by Gandhars and written by Acharyas, Upadhyas and Sadhu. There are multiple attributes of Sache Shastra, and those are revealed by Tirthankar, non disputable, can't be falsified by perception, reason, or testimony, reveals nature of things, helpful to humans, animals, and all other living beings, has potential to destroy all forms of falsehood.
Helpful in what sense? Helpful in showing you the path towards moksha, keeping you in check on the path towards moksha, right? Helpful in that way. Not helpful like, oh, you know what? There are those in Shastra you will find how to make a better, like how to make more money. I mean, there will be, obviously the Shastra talks about certain conduct that potentially can give you good karma and that will give you good consequences, good situations in life, but not necessarily that means you will get more money. है ना? So that's what you have to keep in mind. Yes, Arush, what's your question?
So then why does like Parshnath Bhagwan have a snake on his head?
Oh, great point. Great question. Why does Parshnath Bhagwan has a snake on his head? Okay. So, Arush, the way the story goes is Parshnath Bhagwan, when he was doing his penance, his tap, happened a situation. He had a enemy from his past lives, and this was not an enemy that was like, nemesis or a competitor, but a person who had an immense grudge against him. In his last life, in the last most life, he was called as Kamat, but that's how the story goes, right? So every time Parshnath Bhagwan was born in different life forms, the Kamat came in and tried to do some upsarg on Bhagwan, right? And that was his sort of existence, that's how his whole existence was defined. And in the last life, when Parshnath Bhagwan was born as to be Tirthankar, when he was doing penance, he committed lot of upsargs on Bhagwan. However, Bhagwan was Vitragi, right? First word we heard, right? So he had no feelings of attachment or detachment, neither attachment nor detachment, or rather no attachment and no anger against Kamat, right? So Bhagwan continued with his penance. However, there were these two Vyantar Devs who had immense Shraddha towards Bhagwan. They were not human beings, they were born Devs, right? Or Vyantar type. They are not Sache Dev. Let me be very clear to you, right? So Padmavati and Dharnendra, who was the snake god, they had immense devotion towards Bhagwan, and like we have devotions towards our Bhagwan, right? And if something is happening to, let's say, our temple where Bhagwan's pratima is, we would try to take a position against that, right? In the same way, Dharnendra and Padmavati took their position, expressing their love and whatever they could do, right, based upon their life form and their understanding of the situations. They thought that Bhagwan may because the Kamat was raining water and fire and whatnot, right? They thought Bhagwan may drown. However, that's not possible, right? If somebody is born as Tirthankar, they cannot have Akal Mrityu. Simple as that. So, yet these guys were like, hey, from their own posturing, their own viewpoints, they thought it may so happen. So they came forward to, provide so-called shelter to Bhagwan. Now, ideally speaking, if you are talking about Parshnath Bhagwan as a Tirthankar, that expression of hood, of serpent hood, is not something required. However, because we humans have a tendency of of remembering things of this nature a lot, right? That's why we watch all the dramas and movies. I think somewhere in our tradition, this thing got introduced of basically differentiating Parshnath Bhagwan with an structuring where of idol where Bhagwan is sitting, yet sitting uh, in the avastha of meditation, in a vitragi avastha. However, we do to remind ourselves of that great devotion of Dharnendra, that serpented hood is shown on him. Not just on him, there is same thing for Suparshnath Bhagwan also, right? So again, these stories of importance got tied to how the expression happens. However, it's not mandatory. It's not like something. So even there, we should not be worshipping the serpent god, serpent demigod. The word for the English translation that I found most conducive for Vyantardev is demigods and demigodesses, okay, to differentiate them from the Sache Dev and Sache Devya, or Sache Dev, general term, neutral term, right? Is when we are even showing that kind of idol, we are not showing our devotion towards them. We are definitely showing our respect toward them as a fellow devotee of Parshnath Bhagwan, like we are, है ना? If there is, let's say, you find a sadharmi who is a great devotee of Parshnath Bhagwan, you should have a great feeling of humility and respect towards them, right? Because you can learn from their life examples and you can become one yourself. Same is the case with Dharnendra. However, we should never be worshipping them at the same order as we do worship Tirthankar Parshnath. Make sense? So this is more an overlay of the of expressions, right? Of the times where somehow the idol of Parshnath always got connected with the serpent out there, and people are very afraid of serpents, right? So somehow people got very attached to that expression. Okay, but
Thank you.
great question. That's a good question. Very good question. I don't get that kind of questions in this level 1 class, so I appreciate that. Okay, so let's keep continuing. So next thing is about Sache Shastra, right? So important, very important. I covered that in my introduction also, that when we say Sache Shastra is that Shastra that has originated from the voice of Tirthankar Bhagwan when they were sitting in Samosharan. है ना? So that's why this number 1, revealed by Tirthankar, when? During Samosharan. It is non-disputable. Nobody can dispute it. Can't be falsified by perception, reason or testimony. Reveals nature of things, right? So Dravyanuyog and things we will cover later in our coursework, right? Helpful to humans, animals. By this statement, what the writer of this or maker of this slide means is that Shastra is very helpful to all Gati Jeeves on their trajectory towards moksha. It is the one that reveals the path of moksha. Because we do not have we are blessed, but we are not that blessed to be in the company of Tirthankar Bhagwan, direct company of Tirthankar Bhagwan at this point. It is Shastra that can show us the path. And that's why we should have immense respect towards Shastra. है ना? And they are Shastra, if read with the right intentions and with the right rationality, they can help you to destroy your all form of falsehoods or mithyatva, right? Because they give you the models of thinking that can help you to reason properly and basically give up all your test your falsehoodness and then give those up. Make sense? And falsehood in here, the right word in Hindi is mithyatva, है ना? उसको इंग्लिश में इन्होंने falsehood बोला है. I would still use the term mithyatva because that has a deeper meaning than just falsehood. Okay, so I'll keep going on this. Next.
Name a few common and prominent Sache Shastra. Chaidala, Ratnakaran Shravakacharya, Tatvartha Sutra, Adi Puran, Samaysar, and many more. Now, kids, what should we keep in mind while reading our Jain Shastra? We have to be very respectful. Never keep it on ground. Keep it on elevated surface. If you can sit on floor and do swadhyay. Cover your head while reading it. Never eat or drink while reading or holding them. Now, how will you identify such a Shastra? Samaysar and Pravachansar are true Shastra as they fulfill all attributes of true Shastra. Magazines publish opinions of people, hence aren't true Shastra. Now, in
Make
the
sense about Shastra? So even your books of physics, you should obviously be respectful to those books because they are giving you worldly information, but they are not at par with Shastra. Shastra is something beyond that. Now, why should we be showing respect to Shastra as keeping Shastra on a pedestal and not on the ground? And what's your reason? What do you think? Why should we be doing that? I mean, if this were a lecture for a 5-year-old, I would not have asked this question. But you all are like pre-teen and teenagers, right? So I'm asking this question: Why should we not be disrespectful to Shastra? Why should we keep them on a chalky or a book stand? Yes, Arush.
because like they provide us with like knowledge for like liberation. So like we should always like have respect for that since we're learning from it and it's like higher than us.
Good answer. Good answer. Definitely a good answer. How about you, Sarthak? What do you think?
I think that if we don't respect what we're learning from, then uh like it won't respect us either and we won't learn it.
So, first thing first, Shastra on its own is not a Jeev, right?
I know,
So,
but
yeah, right? So, I mean, it's a Pudgal, hai na? So, it's like, oh, my doll, I should respect my doll because otherwise my doll will not be respectful to me. It's that kind of argument. So, otherwise you are right, hai na? So, but, yet, if I disrespect the Shastra, I am disrespecting the knowledge, right? And if you are not showing your you are not showing, you are not keeping your focus on Shastra with an intent to learning, then no learning will come to you. You will rather get those karma that will be obstructing you on your path of acquiring any kind of knowledge. Right now, that's not Shastra doing that to you, but you yourself are doing that to you. Right? So yes, that's way that answer is right. Hai na? But just also keep in mind that although Shastra is Pudgal, yet we have to show a respect towards it because that's the best thing available at this time. Showing you the light, showing you the path. Because we do not have a direct company of Bhagwan today. Hai na? That's why. Now, other thing that I always use an example of is, do you know how do water flow? Water always flow from higher gradient to lower gradient. That's law of physics. Hai na? Higher elevation to lower elevation. You will never have a situation where suddenly water starts flowing from a lower elevation to a higher elevation unless you put a kind of a pump in between. That is, you supply it extra energy. But on its own, water always flow. Gravity at work, it flows from higher gradient to lower gradient. Same is case with heat and any kind of fluid, right? They always flow from high gradient to low gradient. Hai na? That is what you should keep in mind as an analogy. Knowledge also flows the same way. If you do not show your humility and expression of respect towards the source of knowledge, you cannot expect knowledge flowing to you naturally. Make sense? That's why in our culture, in the Indian dharmic culture that we are part of, we always show greater respect to our elders, to our Shastra, to our Guru. We always place them on a higher pedestal. Right? That even applies to judges in court. Because we are, expecting them to be fair and give us a decision, we make them sit on a higher pedestal. Isn't it? Right? So that's our expression of, because I am the seeker and you are the provider, I am giving you more respect. I am placing you on a higher gradient. Right? That's why we should place our books when we are reading them on a chalky, on a elevated surface. If you go to the temple, that's why Bhagwan's idol is put on a singhasan, on a pedestal. That's one of the pratihare. है ना? That's the expression that he's so high, that I cannot expect myself to be even sitting at the same level as at which Bhagwanji's idol is kept. That's a mark and expression of my humility, and it is doing nothing to the idol as such, because idol at the end of the day is made up of Pudgal Parmanus, right? It's made up of a substance, of some kind of alloy. Yet, it's my intent and expression. If I don't keep them honest and pure, I would get the consequences of it by means of the karma particles that will get attached to me, based on my intent. Right? So that's why we should be showing our respect and express that respect by, let's say, using a chalky or an elevated surface, or even if, let's say, I'm sitting on the ground, I don't have access to the chalky, I'm holding it in my hand. At least I'm not keeping it on the ground, base ground. Make sense? Okay, so we'll keep going on this. So that's all about Shastra. Now let's
Swadhyay.
go to Guru.
Cover your head while
I think we
reading
covered
it.
this already, so I'll
Sache
just jump
Shastra, true Shastra. Now, in the last, let's learn about our Sache Guru. Who is Sache Guru? We should bow down or seek guidance from Sache Guru only. The word Guru means great. Guru can be a teacher, mother, or father. However, in the case of Jain Dharma, the Acharya, Upadhyay, and Sadhu are called Guru because they show the true path of liberation through their preaching or conduct.
Okay, so what is the key word here? And Arush, this will answer your question, right? You asked the question, how do we identify such a guru? There are two things that are given in this answer, right? One is obviously, they should be they should know the subject matter. They should be able to pass down that information, that knowledge to us of Shastra and of our traditions to us. So that in that sense, they should be able to show us the true path to liberation with their preachings, their teachings, right? So first thing. Another thing, which is kind of, I would say, the way they say it in math, necessary and essential condition, right? So that is conduct. If there is a guru who knows all the subject matter based upon the kshayapsham of their karma, of their Jnanavarni karma, that is, they have been blessed with immense power of perception and power of basically retaining knowledge, memorization. Anybody can basically go through the Shastra and basically start teaching them. Of course, that's required, but also more importantly, one other thing that's important is what's their conduct. Is their conduct, speaking of what they are preaching, are they both in sync? If these things are not in sync, then that is one parameter or a yardstick one can use to basically assess whether they are the right guru for you or not. I mean, I'm not saying you are deciding for other people. Decide for yourself at least, right? If you see that the preachings and the conduct are in sync, that's one of the yardstick to use to identify a such a guru. And there are many of those existing in our tradition at this point, right? Conduct is very important. Make sense? Right? And when we say conduct as per our tradition, right? जिसको बोलते हैं ना चारित्र, कंडक्ट का जो राइट वर्ड है वो चारित्र है, राइट? तो उनका सम्यक चारित्र का एक्सप्रेशन होता है या नहीं? तप त्याग के बारे में उनका क्या मतलब आर दे फॉलोअर ऑफ तप त्याग और नॉट, आर दे यू नो इन एन अपरिग्रही अवस्था और नॉट, आर दे निर्ग्रंथ sadhu or not, right? Have they given up all their attachments or not? These are certain things or criteria that one can use to better understand their conduct, their charitra. And preachings are very important, right? They have the conduct, of course, and then they, with their immense tap, tyag, and the knowledge that they have acquired through the traditions, they should be passing that down to us and showing us the path. Make sense? Okay, so we'll keep continuing on this.
What are the attributes of such a guru? Has no desire for sensual pleasures, has renounced all worldly occupations and possessions, who is always absorbed in swadhyay, dhyan, and tapasya. Hope, kids, you learn about.
Make sense, Arush? Right? This is what I was telling you, right? No desires for sensual pleasures, renounced all worldly. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आज तो मुझे you go to for ahar of a muni and all munis looking for is you can serve me achar today or something. They, our muni never ask for things of that way, right? Because that's an expression of uh, looking for sensual pleasures, right? Of eating, taste, touch, smell and whatnot. They will never do that, right? So these are some minor things which one minute things that one has to look for, right? Also, they have renounced upon all their worldly possessions and occupations, right? So that's another yardstick. And of course, they are absorbed in swadhyay, dhyan, and tapasya. Their life, their day is all defined by samaik that they do, dhyan they do tap they do, and the swadhyay or the that they provide basically, right? So these are the things one has to look for. Okay, make sense, bacho? Any questions?
Yes.
Praniti, Sarthak, I know Mika had to go. Okay, good. Glad. Okay, other one is a very simple one, guys. I will not, I would not go through that video now. You can all do on your own time. The video about Jain Dhwaj. It's a very straightforward one. How is our Dhwaj defined? Just basic concept. There are 5 parmeshtis and there are 5 colors, right? So each color is a representative of one of the parmeshtis. That's how Jain flag got defined. है ना? You can find that, you can go through this video. It's explanatory, and then you can also go to Wikipedia. You'll find a lot of information there, which is in line with this video. I mean that they are not two different things. It's just that it's present there. Okay? Make sense? Any questions?
I'm not in the Google classroom yet.
Oh, you are not? Why, beta? You should be.
I'm not in it yet.
Oh, okay.
जय जिनेंद्र
You want
बच्चों
to
आज
follow
मैं
up with
बहुत
someone? Maybe with your help of your parents so that you get added?
Is there like a code I need to put in, or how
You know
do
what?
I?
I'm not the best person, but let me explore. Okay, so this is our class. Did you complete your enrollment?
Yeah,
Okay, so then ideally
there was like a class join code.
yes, there should be. There should be. That's what I would look for. Submit. No, that's yeah. There was a join code. Yeah, initially that email came. I'm not sure. I'll also to look for it. If not, I'll probably I'll ask someone. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just checking the list here. So yeah, in this class there are only 8 students. So maybe you are missed. Okay. Probably I'll check with someone. Okay.
Okay.
But in the meantime, let me at least share the video here. That way you have access to it and you can go through it. Okay? Chat. So let me go to that classwork video of Jain flags. Okay, I've shared the link here. You can click it once, Arush. That way you have hit. And we'll end today's session now with Jinwani Stuti. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, तो वाणी मस्तक धरूं सदा देहूं धोक। हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तो हे जपूं दिन रैन, जो तेरी शरणा गए माँ सो पावे सुख चैन. Okay, who did I did worship or did the stuti for in this Jinwani stuti? Whose stuti is this? It's an obvious question. Very. Whose stuti is this? Arush?
Uh, Mahavir Swami.
No. Jinwani stuti. So it's a stuti of Jinwani. Right? Now what is Jinwani? Jinwani is another name for Shastra, Sache Shastra. Okay? So we learned about Dev Shastra Guru today, and when we are doing Jinwani, we are actually bowing down. We are expressing our devotion and humility towards Jinwani, that is nothing but Shastra. Right? So other word for Shastra is also Jinwani. है ना? But Jinwani is not a Devi. It's not like people may think, oh, you are worshipping a Devi. We are not. We are worshipping Jinwani. Jinwani, that is our Shastra. Now, in certain cultures, poetically, people may have personified Shastra as Jinwani, as Saraswati, right? But that's nothing but Shastra. Make sense? So, Jinwani Stuti, always remember, we do that because any knowledge that I am passing to you today has come to us through those Shastra. Exactly what we learned today, right? It originated from the voice of Bhagwan, Omkar Dhwani of Bhagwan, and then got passed down to us through a tradition of Gandhars, and from Gandhars to Acharyan, a long line of Acharyan Munis to us, Shravaks, and Acharya Muni and Shastris down to us, Shravaks, right? Common Shravaks. So that's what we say is Jinwani, and that's the stuti we have done. Okay, with that we'll end today's session. Jai Jinen to you and Uttam Shama Michhami Dukram.
Jai Janant.
Jai
Uttam
Jinen
Shama.
beta, Uttam Shama beta.